Welcome into the Crypto Bunker podcast. If you've been following my short videos or you've been following my Twitter, I have talked about, as well as the previous video, a potential for risk assets to explode here higher. And it looks like we are confirming that today, in my opinion. Um, we can see on the Nasdaq, we are now above the 200-day moving average for the first time since the all-time high. Essentially, we've been rejected by it 1, 2, 3, pretty much 4, and this is our fifth go at it. You have heard me in the past talk about, accumulating within a shorter range of moving averages is a better idea than obviously accumulating in a wider array. If you want to try to pick bottoms, you can always accumulate when it's wide to the downside. And if you want to try to pick tops, you can always sell when it's wide to the upside. But in terms of just accumulation, you want to start to accumulate at these type of situations that we're in right now. And I would say the 200-day moving average has essentially acted as our and this is a great, example of this weekly candle breakout here that we're having. And as you can see, we are above this line. This is not log, not logarithmic scale or anything. We have, we went below the 200-week moving average. We had the 20-week moving average cross the 200, which is usually a pretty good case of a bottom. I think either ETH or Bitcoin, I think, bottomed around that time as well. And so now we are seeing a broad-based rally, and we really have been seeing a broad-based rally. And I did actually want to cover something real quick because I tweeted this out before, but you can actually look at the Vanguard small cap index. And let's see if I have that up here somewhere. Yeah, so this has broken out as well pretty convincingly. And what I didn't actually know until yesterday, I didn't even think about it, didn't think about accumulating small cap coins, none of that stuff at all. But what I realized yesterday is that if you compare small cap index versus small cap index versus large cap, the large cap price to earnings ratio in comparison to the small cap price to earnings ratio, you can see on my tweet here, you can see the ratio, and then you can see the historical average. And so the historical average is more like 1-to-1 because you obviously think that small caps would have, just as much of a price to earnings ratio. And the fact that it has, this value that it's showing is outstanding because, small cap historically, again, more of the same. And so you can also see the same thing here. It's the averages are just off. And so I would say if you're in a retirement account, start to look at Vanguard small cap index institutional. Their small cap value index is looking really good. All these are really breaking out right now. And no, I think if you watch that video by Real Vision yesterday, there's a better explanation of what is happening with small caps. And part of the reason is that these big cap tech firms got so big that now it's going to be harder for them to outperform just like, they have been. And so really it's time for the small caps to outshine. And this is like a 5 to 10 year type of event where small caps will actually outperform the broader market. So just wanted to cover that real quick for you guys because I know not a lot of people think about small caps. Let's get into the crypto. We have Ethereum, which is sort of going sideways, I would say, which is good for altcoins. So we've been seeing some altcoins starting to pop off. I don't love the way this looks, but we do see that we're sort of, using the 20-day as, as the guidance here, as the support. And, we've obviously broken through some type of, support here. And so I would say it's kind of goes either way, but this is a time where I would say, not financial advice, but it's a good time to start accumulating if you're definitely if you're, someone that's been waiting for like the dip or whatever. I know that I said we needed to test the 200-day. It might not happen. In previous bear markets, it did happen for ETH, but we're in a lot more of a bullish situation. As you guys know, you can look at ultrasound.money for the how deflationary ETH has become. And I think that, we're down, you can see almost near the all-time lows of negative price in terms of the supply chain and negative supply, which is just, it's crazy to see. And to be honest, like this, in most recent like Raoul Pal interview, he talked about this a little bit, but this could get out of control at some point. It really could, because it could get out of control to the upside, which then could, after that, become out of control to the downside. And it's just going to be crazy, like to see, like we're just at the beginning potentially of a bull here. And so it's just going to be interesting to see how how this stuff reacts in terms of Ethereum to a bull market. We haven't really had a bull market since the merge. And so if we do see a bull market here, we just really don't know the potential. I mean, you just don't know with crypto. I mean, it could go up to 3,000. And, I know I previously said that I would think about selling when it got to 2,300. And to be honest, that's just like a short-term mindset. It's probably something I should try to avoid having in the future. I don't want to be short-term focused, especially with crypto. I want to be long-term focused. I want to accumulate strategically across a long period of time. And if you look at it on a long-term basis, I would say that right now is a long-term accumulation buy, just like I think with the stock market right now, just like I think with small caps, just like I think with some of these tech funds, that we're not going to catch the exact bottom, and we didn't, but we're above the 200-day moving average in most indexes at this point. And so, but we're not, like, we haven't completely mooned yet. And if it goes down a little bit more and double bottoms, then, we're also okay. So we're sort of in this like nice sweet range to accumulate. And we can look at Matic, because Matic has completely broken out. And unfortunately, I did not have a say in Matic whatsoever. I would say this is a full breakout, and I personally am looking for this to hit its all-time high. I think it could double from here. Essentially, my target is around 240. It was a great buy, and I think that for people who are holding the Matic bags, which I know is a lot of you guys, and good for you. I feel like for some reason, I think the reason that I didn't accumulate Matic was because I have a big ETH position, and I look at Matic as like a leverage position on ETH. I also look at like a couple of my NFTs as like a leverage play on ETH. And so obviously I could have gone even more into ETH, but I mean, if you would talk to the people at Matic, the developers and things like that, they're more bullish on ETH than anything, than Matic. So it's sort of like, a riskier play on ETH. I actually did, I have been accumulating a little bit of ENS, and ENS I talked about on my short videos a little bit, but yeah, it was a great decision to buy down here, because I kind of estimated that we would break out. Now, it wasn't a guarantee. We were basically right on the line. But I kind of estimated based on the fact that the Nasdaq and the S&P was breaking out. And so I thought, okay, what's a small cap token that has a, large upside, that is also, successful and is based on Ethereum. And if we look at Ethereum name service, we do see that just millions of addresses and names have signed up. We have, tons of big brands, obviously NBA, name your pick of the brands, Amazon, Porsche, Budweiser, Pepsi, all these Shaq, .eth, everyone has a .eth address essentially. including myself. I have a handful that I've just purchased, obviously Crypto Bunker. But yeah, so I'm bullish. I think it's only a $350 million market cap. Obviously, the fully diluted market cap's like 1.7 billion, something, it's 1.5 billion. And so obviously, it's right now in terms of circulating supply, there's not much. And so if people want to enter the market and to, purchase ENS, um, it's not a market that can take a lot of liquidity. And so if we do see a bull, um, I really do think we could get to crazy levels. I think that it could get to $1 billion market cap. My target is up here at $38. We can look at it on multiple levels. We not only have, this is how you do this, by the way. If you have a wedge, you just take the top to the bottom and then you place it over here as a target. And we sort of have this cool like candle here that actually kind of just forms this perfect wedge. And it's awesome kind of to see how this played out. And you can see that like whales definitely were accumulating on this wedge. And so you sort of know that it is a legit wedge. And you can even look at it on the fib retracement. So these are Fibonacci lines. And what you can do is you can sort of just use the wedge here of the trend line, and you can sort of pick out not exactly the bottom sometimes, but this is like a key level in my opinion, where you have these touches here on the top and the bottom. And so you can see the exact, it sort of brings you exactly to also this kind of range where people were trying to buy the dip, I guess, at the beginning. And actually I was airdropped a bunch of ENS. And so I was able to sell that a lot higher, basically at the beginning, around like 65 or 67 or something. And so, yeah, so I'm happy to buy down here, even as a long-term investment. I see Ethereum name service playing a huge part in digital identity, but we can see that we've broken out of this wedge pretty convincingly. And so now I just wait for the target to play out. I'll probably convert it back to ETH because I think it will outperform ETH in the short term. And we've seen a lot of altcoins breaking out. We've seen Optimism make all-time highs. Rocket Pool. Some of these layer twos are just continuously just breaking out, and it's look at the volume. I mean, it's we obviously I saw this too. Like I saw this wedge, and I should have capitalized on it. Sometimes I miss out. We can say Polkadot also is another one that I like, that I have accumulated a lot of in the 5 levels, and that has broken out of its 200-day moving average. It wasn't in like a nice wedge. It was kind of just like a downward sort of I guess the channel, you could say. And so, DOT, it continues to not want to go down here. It's above its 200. We use the 200 as support. We obviously crashed through, and now we're kind of support. And now I expect the next move. And it's kind of nice to see DOT and ETH, sort of going sideways as if they're like the big boys of the industry, while these other altcoins sort of go. DOT acts like that. DOT will sort of moon when like things are down. It sort of almost acts like a mini hedge again, with ETH. As you can see, the daily moving average is nicely moving up. We've crossed bullish here. All we need left is the 20 to cross the 200 to really confirm this thing. And yeah, I'm super bullish on DOT for sure. So see if we can go through some of these other ones here. You can look, I mean, KSM still below its 200, trying to test these highs here. This one, I think is one of those small caps that could outperform. With the new XCM version 3, which is a messaging system for parachains, Kusama will be involved with, Ethereum on its chain, just like Polkadot will. And so, no, I think it's looking good there. I've talked about gold and silver. I see gold and silver sort of, they're very heavy. I mean, you just look at the resistance that we've gotten at 24. I mean, just die already, right? I mean, um, it's unbelievable. I mean, we obviously have a fully bullish structure, so maybe we just come down and test the 150 and then we continue on. I talked about it before. This is probably a time period within the next few months of continued it's tough to say. I mean, it really is. It's whether you think this is 2018 for stocks, or if you think that this is 2001 for stocks, where we're going to have like this gold and silver massive run where stocks go sideways. I actually am starting to lean more towards like Raoul Pal's version of what this could be. I think it's going to be something in between, but again, silver just seems super, super heavy to me right here, and so does gold. We can look at gold on the, see, let's do 2 hour, 2 hour. We can do the 1 hour, because you kind of have to see that we're finally crossing bearish now. Obviously, as you can see, the moving averages are in order, and we have this cross here, and we tested it, and now we're rejected, or we're testing it right now, actually. And so I think, and if we look at it on the hourly, it's probably even worse. Yeah, I mean, so gold has essentially gotten bought all the way up this rally on the 200 hour moving average, then the 150. It's just continuously gotten bought. And now we're sort of seeing that again, it's not, it crossed bearish. It hasn't, I don't think it's crossed this bear. Well, we can say that maybe we're, say compared to here, but even then it got bought up very quickly. And here it doesn't look like it didn't, it's not making new highs. It's just not looking great. If we look at, let's look at some more indicators here. I can see what it's looking like. And so let's see here. Okay. So yeah, I mean, what you can see is, this is a lesson if you use the moving average convergence divergence, because believe me, when I used to watch these videos, I didn't know what any of this meant, and it was sort of annoying. So I always like to try to highlight, what all these indicators mean. But this is moving average convergence divergence. It's called the MACD. And what you can see is that when we have a large green volume on the MACD, and then we have red, okay, so we do green, red, green. That usually means if the green here is lower than the green here, that we're kind of weakening on the buys, right? We can look at it even in the red. You can do it the opposite way, and so you could think of, I mean, you could almost think of this, and that's why this was a buy, right? So we're looking on the hourly. Let's look on the daily. Okay, this might give us a little bit more insight, and it did. Okay, so what we're seeing on the daily here, right, is that we are weakening. So we had this was our high here with the moving average convergence divergence, and then we had a red area, and then we had green, but the green didn't make it, right? And so now what we're looking for is a red outperformance of this red, and so that it's kind of a channel where like the red comes down around here. Okay, so that's what we're looking at with gold. Look at it quickly on silver as well, because I think it's the same thing. But yeah, I mean, you can see we've been weakening from here to here. And so, and now we're just in this red area when we haven't really even broken out yet. It doesn't look good in my opinion. And so, yeah, maybe I'll reduce even more of my silver exposure and grab some altcoins or something. But let's look at, again, S&P looking really good here. These are the mini futures, which a lot of people use. The sign is ES. And again, we're fully confirmed here, in my opinion. And And we're off to the races, and my target's 4,300 on the S&P. And so I'm continuing to look for that. We're back up to $1 trillion in terms of total market cap. Bitcoin is continuing to outperform ETH. It's really leaving people in the dust. And we just had a cross bullish a couple of days ago where we had the 20-day move above the 200-day, which I think actually happened on ETH as well. It just hasn't happened on some of the Nasdaq or other indexes, but yeah, I mean, maybe let's try to look for the next altcoin. Like if you were gonna, I mean, okay, obviously I like DOT. I think that it's thing about DOT is that it was just so oversold. And so now that XCM V3 is here, and I think we could look at like something like this. This is that coin that BlackRock called out, EWT, which you can buy on Kraken. And it's only 350, and I just think, to me, this thing looks like, if we look at it, let's clear it out. Let's really clear this out here and kind of try to figure out what this is looking like. Is this a wedge? Is this a wedge we can trade? To me, it is. To me, it is a wedge that we can trade, and I'm glad that I kind of picked up on this, because this is one that I always miss out on every time. And I think that maybe this is the time where it does finally rally to that point. And let's see if we can use a fib retracement to put this into perspective. And there it is. And so again, it's right up there at 783. And so if you're looking for, again, a lot of these will double in my opinion. And so it right now it seems to me to be a very good accumulation range. Let's look at the moving average ribbons. Let's look at should we look at the MACD? So ribbons wise, it's very thin, like I like. We see, yeah, I mean, we saw that this sell off here was less powerful than this one. And this one, it's a double bottom, essentially. If we look at it on the weekly, is this a W bottom? I don't know, like this sort of, like I could see that. So what you would want to see is a close above probably here around 424. That would confirm us up to the 7 range. But again, we can anticipate these things, and we're a little bit early. This is a very small cap coin. So if we do happen to take off, you're going to see this one, in my opinion, especially breaking these two lines. This has been really tough for it. We haven't broken through, even on this bull or this, we have not broken through the 100-day or 100-week moving average. And so we should come up to around that 7 range. Let's see where the monthly moving average is. Yeah, it's a little bit lower, but who knows? I mean, we could even break that. This is one of those like World Economic Forum, loving type things, where it's carbon based, reducer, basically. It's called Energy Web Token. They're building on Polkadot as well. They have a lot of pretty good things going on, and it looks like this is major resistance. Even going back to this, it was support, now it's resistance. And so if we can break through that, who knows what's possible? I mean, maybe even up to 11. I mean, this is a very small cap coin, and if you have $350 lying around, you can buy 100 of them. You can buy it on Kraken. All you have to do is pretty much send ETH to Kraken, convert that ETH to USD, and then use that USD to buy EWT. And then there you go, you have it. So not financial advice, but it's there. So that's another one we can look at. I kind of wanted to look at SNX. I mean, it's maybe not. I mean, again, a lot of these will double in this type of rally. So And a lot of this has to do with China reopening, which is really good. I think it's actually this Monday or Sunday night that they're like reopening officially. So it hasn't even really kind of happened yet. So I'm sure there's a lot of people who have like money saved up, who are, beginning to just think about spending. We're in the green, we're looking good. Um, Amazon, it's still like it looks very heavy, but it could rally up to 127. Microsoft obviously could rally up to 280. Apple looks bad as well. I mean, that's why I think it's interesting. It's like these broad-based indexes, I feel like, are actually a better sort of play. But yeah, I mean, this could come up to 154. It just looks so heavy to me. I think eventually we will test these low. I don't know. I mean, it's an interesting one. And that's what makes these indexes so kind of fascinating, is like big tech is not leading the way. And so now we're seeing big tech sort of like come onto the scene, and that's kind of pushing us up through. But before this, we had like a broad based rally. And that's why I sort of have highlighted the small caps and the mid caps even, are sort of starting to break out. We also see emerging markets breaking out. So let's take a look at that. Right now, Vanguard emerging because of China. Okay, so again, one that you can find in your accounts. This isn't it. I think I brought it up here somewhere. I thought I did. I apologize. Let's just look at a general one or something. Yeah, where is it? Is this it? This might be it. Oh yeah, this is it. Sorry about that. So yeah, let's look at it on the daily moving averages here for merging. So yeah, we're above the 200. We just crossed bullish. This is again a China play. We might face some resistance here, but in general, we are in a bull market. And even people like Keith McCullough, who I really respect, he obviously still, thinks this is just a bear market rally for equity stocks. That is to be determined. But in terms of China, in terms of just China in general, he does believe we're in a new bull market for China, because the last 2 years for China has been a bear market. And so it's, it topped 6 months, before. And so maybe it bottomed 6 months before. I don't know. I think the second half of this year could be a little bit rocky for American stocks. But in terms of right now, we are in a bull market for China. And so it's a good time to start accumulating in those retirement accounts, again, emerging, small caps, even like growth, like some of the stuff is really beaten up, like disruptive technologies, stuff like that is really beaten up. Obviously, you want exposure to the index rally as well, but you could always use that to rally up, and then you can convert it to emerging, or you can convert it to small caps or something, small cap value even. If you look at small cap value right now, which I think, is it this one? No, this is small cap growth, which also is sort of breaking out. So that's an interesting one. Let's see, this should be it. Yeah. This is like, it's almost like going to make all-time highs. If you look at like, we are breaking out on this. It kind of looks like the Dow Jones. So it's probably a lot of same thing as the Dow Jones industrial averages. But yeah, I mean, we could easily come back. We could test 180 up here. Be about like a 5 to 10% more rally there. So 5%, I think. So yeah, I mean, that's easily reachable. And I think that, I mean, just think about like, we could go to all-time highs again, guys. Like, I want to say that, like, it's possible. I also like semiconductors. If you look at semiconductors, they have broken out as well. And I think that this has to do with This has to do with China as well. This is not what I was looking for. I apologize again. This is the value index. Here we go. Semiconductors. You can see we've broken out. And again, like I just don't see much headwinds up until this region. It's, up here. So, I'm long semiconductors. I mean, it's a chip story in terms of China reopening, a lot of tech, stuff like that. We W bottomed, we're above the middle. So, it's an official breakout there. So yeah, dips are getting bought pretty big here. It's impressive. And so let's see where we go here. I mean, what's going on with this guy? LRC. Could this be the last LRC rally? This thing could double to 68 cents. It's above the 200-day moving average. Everything's and this again, layer 2 solutions, right? Like this is kind of one of the last ones that it doesn't really get used. No one really likes it. And for good reason, but it's so early that it just the fact that it has a layer 2. I mean, I can't believe this thing got all the way up to you got to be kidding me, man. I actually, to be honest, I missed this as well. I continue to do this. I bought this coin down here. And look at that thing now. I mean, it's unbelievable to see. Aave, could Aave break out finally look, all these coins, pretty much are going to double in my opinion. So hopefully you guys got something out of the video, not financial advice. If you did, please like, subscribe, and have a